Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakahakodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video. And in this video, I'll be profiling an article from the Economic Collapse End of the American Dream.com titled, "The Numbers Tell Us That Americans Are Rapidly Losing Hope as We Head Toward 2023. And hey, these proud Americans out here, not just the heathens, but our own people, 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have every right to lose hope going towards 2023 because we're coming into the times of Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi judging you wicked people for all the iniquity you've been committing. If you have hope, you can make it through just about anything that life throws your way. Unfortunately, survey after survey is telling us that the American people are increasingly losing hope. Conditions are steadily getting worse in this country, and there isn't much confidence that our current crop of leaders can turn things around anytime soon, which they can't. We're living in the twilight hours of the United States of America before it descends into complete chaos and is ultimately destroyed by 200 million nuclear missiles, which is going to turn it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland afterwards. And 2022 has been deemed by the Apostle Tahar as the year of Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi, turning things up. And we can see that things have been turning up exponentially. And it's going to be very interesting to see what 2023 holds. The elder brother Yashawamba of the Dallas camp did a video. And in that video, he was profiling an article where the title was 2023 is going to be the year from hell. Great judgments going out. In fact, most people appear to believe that things will be even worse in 2023. If that turns out to be the case, will our country be able to handle it? And no. Now let's get some precepts real quick. I'm going to start off in Isaiah chapter 24, verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. And as we're about to see in that article, all the merry-hearted are sighing. A large percentage of Americans don't see any hope for this country, and especially going into 2023. And there's an uptick in drug and alcohol use. The mirth of the tabret ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. A lot of people out here are beginning to lose their jobs, not be able to pay particular bills, worry about how they're going to get food, worry about gas prices, inflation, all that. The mirth that used to be in the United States of America is quickly coming to an end. We're coming to the times to where people are going to have to be worried more about the necessities of life, survival, than all the other little bullshit, frivolous things out here. And I've noticed it in my personal life, and I'm sure a lot of you sincere Akim and Akwath have noticed it as well. We're coming into the times of the holidays, and for the past couple of years, for me, I've seen that a lot of people I knew in the world and family just aren't celebrating these holidays like they used to. It's just becoming another day. Hey, the mirth and the joy in this place is coming to an end. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. People are turning to drugs and alcohol, not to party, but to escape the reality of this dire situation that we're living in. The city of confusion is broken down, and the United States of America is known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures. And that word Babylon or Babel in the Hebrew means confusion. So this is the city of confusion. And we can see that on every level, this place is breaking down morally, economically, you name it. Hey, you've got a lot of these farmers complaining too, because adverse weather events have been destroying their crops. Fuel prices being so high have not allowed them to plant a sufficient amount of crops. The food structure is breaking down, and things are just going to get exponentially worse as we go into 2023. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. A lot of businesses going out of business and letting go of a lot of workers. And I did a video a couple of weeks ago showing how a lot of companies are laying off large numbers of workers and that it's only going to continue going into 2023. There's a crying for wine in the streets, and that wine is speaking of understanding, people trying to find answers to what's going on, but the only answers are through the scriptures by the prophets of the Most High, the men of the Lord, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, as well as the brothers coming in the spirit of GMS, going out onto the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this. But at the same time, the understanding of these scriptures has to be given to you through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. You can't just hear the words of the prophets and get it, or open up the scriptures to get it. This is an exclusive club for the elect. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Now let's continue reading about the mirth of the land being gone. Nearly 3/4 of Americans think the United States is heading in the wrong direction under President Joe Biden, according to yet another bad poll for the president ahead of the midterm elections. Despite grappling with low favorability ratings for much of his first term already, Biden's popularity experienced a deep downturn in recent months amid growing pessimism over the economy. Now, a whopping 74% of Americans say the country is on the wrong track, while just 21% feel the nation is headed in the right direction, according to a new survey from NBC News. And those numbers could be much higher or lower than that. We know that these mainstream media networks like to skew the numbers heavily. And that same survey also discovered that a solid majority of Americans are convinced that the country's best days are now in the past. City of confusion is broken down. It found more than half of the respondents, 58%, feel more worried that America's best years may already be behind us, and they are behind you, long behind you. There is no build back better or make America great again, with just 35% thinking the best years are yet to come. Prior to the Biden administration, we never saw numbers that were anywhere close to this dismal. And even in Biden's first year, much of the population was still generally optimistic about the future. But now something has changed, and it isn't just in the political realm. According to a new Gallup poll, the percentage of U.S. adults that are personally thriving has hit the lowest level in 18 months. The percentage of U.S. adults estimated to be thriving has steadily declined since it reached a record high of 59.2% in June of 2021. The latest estimate of 51.2% is an 18-month low. The lowest recorded thriving rate of 46.4% was measured twice, first in November of 2008 amid the Great Recession, and second in late April 2020 during the initial economic shutdown associated with the outbreak of the C-19 in the U.S. So why are people so negative about things these days? Needless to say, the economy is a big factor. Inflation is out of control. The housing market is starting to crash. GDP has contracted for 2 quarters in a row, and big companies all over America are starting to lay off workers. The doors in the streets being shut. But economic conditions aren't even that bad yet. They were just in the beginning stages of it. If you think things are bad now, just wait until we get to 2023 and beyond. We're just in the beginning of sorrows right now, as it says in Matthew chapter 24. I'm going to start at verse 6. And these are all the end time signs that Yahushai HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus Christ, told his disciples to look for, to know that they were living in the last days before the second coming of Yahushai and the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven and the end of this age of the rulership of the heathen nations, which is chiefly of the biblical Edomites, or these so-called white people. And if you have that spiritual eye salve, you can clearly see that all these end time signs are either in the process of taking place or taking place as we speak. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Here's the main point in verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. We're just in the beginning stages right now. It's going to get a hell of a lot worse from here on out. And if you're in the spirit, you understand these things, unlike people out here that think that, oh, this is just a minor road bump. Things are going to go back to normal eventually. Hey, this is impossible. Economic collapses, food shortages, martial law, world war. Hey, that doesn't happen in the times we live in, where you err not knowing the scriptures or the times you're living in. This is Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 1. And the header reads, a time for everything. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. And we can clearly see that these people are in a time of weeping and mourning right now, not in a time of dancing, in a time of laughing. As that poll is showing, a lot of people are pessimistic about the future of America and don't see things getting better, but only worse from here on out. And those polls should clearly show you what times we're living in, not the good times, the happy times, but the dark times, the bad times, the times of the judgments of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. And just look at the United States of America. It's hard to have a regular conversation with the average person out here without politics or anything like that, just completely making it go south quickly. Clearly not a time of embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And with the war taking place in Ukraine, rumors of war with China going against Taiwan, talks of nuclear war or Israel going to war against Iran, do you think we're in a time of peace or a time of war? So why are people so negative about things these days? Needless to say, the economy is a big factor. It's like, I think I already read that. Yeah. In addition to a crumbling economy, another big reason for the widespread malaise in this country right now is the fact that our culture is visibly deteriorating all around us. The city of confusion being broken down. If previous generations of Americans could walk through our major cities today, they would tell us that our country doesn't even look like America anymore. Just about every form of evil that you can possibly imagine is going on right out in the open, and it seems to get worse with each passing year. Of course, all of this degeneracy is reflected in the crime statistics. For example, consider what has been happening in New York City. Year to date, the top 7 major violent offenses: murder, rape, robbery, felony assault, burglary, grand larceny, and motor vehicle grand larceny have increased by 36.1% from this time period of 2021, according to the NYPD statistics. In the past, criminals would generally restrict themselves to the bad areas of the Big Apple, but these days, crime rates are actually rising the fastest in the wealthy areas of the city. Manhattan's 6th Precinct, which includes the wealthy neighborhoods of Greenwich Village and the West Village, is seeing an 80.2% increase in the top 7 major crimes year to date compared to 2021. Crime has risen 65.5% year to date in the upscale first precinct, which includes Soho, Tribeca, Wall Street, and the World Trade Center. There's a general feeling among those on both the right and the left that we as a society that is in decline. Everywhere you look, you can see the signs of this, and our quality of life is rapidly swirling down the toilet. But dealing with these crime statistics, let's go back to Matthew chapter 24 real quick. This is Matthew 24, verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And when you go into the word iniquity in the Strongs, it's G458, anomia, the condition of without law, because ignorant of it, because of violating it, contempt and violation of law, iniquity, wickedness. And this is ultimately talking about the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai in the scriptures not being established in the earth, people being ignorant of it and violating of it. But it can also be talking about the laws of this society, which, as we clearly saw from that statistic, hey, these people are violating it and they have a contempt of that law. They don't give a shit. They're getting it how they live out here. And what do we see over the past year and a half? Calls for defunding the police and a lot of police leaving their departments, which is just further exacerbating this crime out here. And because iniquity or lawlessness shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Larceny, grand larceny, rape, robbery, murder, etc., etc. And remember, this is only the beginning of sorrows. As a result, our population as a whole is deeply, deeply depressed. In fact, it has been reported that over 37 million Americans are taking antidepressants. Whether or not more people are depressed, prescriptions for antidepressants have been on the rise. By our calculations, more than 37 million Americans are on medications like sertraline, escitalopram, bupropion, trazodone, and fluoxetine. Many others try to drown their sorrows by drinking alcohol, taking illegal drugs, or engaging in other addictive behaviors. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. If we are in this bad of a shape already, what is going to happen as we get much deeper into the perfect storm that is now upon us? Remember, we're just in the beginning of sorrows. In the months and years ahead, there will be global famines, and there shall be famines. In the months and years ahead, there will be more major pestilences and pestilences. And in the months and years ahead, there will be more war. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. In fact, a top official in the UK is warning that members of the military need to be prepared to be sent to fight in Ukraine. The army's top other ranks soldiers says troops must be ready to fight Russia and should alert loved ones to a potential conflict. Warrant Officer Paul Carney warned that the UK military was now shaping itself to meet the threat from Russia and was ready to counter any aggression. The time had come to prepare families and loved ones for the possibility of being sent to the east. The days ahead are going to be incredibly challenging, but there is no other time in human history that I would have rather lived in than right now. And hey, I bet I know you sincere Akim and Akwath can speak the same. We're on the cusp of the kingdom of heaven, the end of this age of the rulership of the heathen nations, the second coming of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. And whether this the author of this article is a Israelite or not, if he doesn't understand the scriptures, he's in the wrong spirit, because the only thing that's coming his way is judgment, destruction. That's pretty much it with this article. But now I'm going to close it out. In Isaiah chapter 2, verse 11 to 12, the lofty looks of man, the proud looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and Yahweh alone shall be exalted in that day, For the day of Yahweh of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. And this is ultimately talking about the day of Yahushai returning, which is going to be a very dark day. Nuclear missiles flying, the chariots, which people refer to as UFOs, shooting laser beams and killing people. But we're in the beginning stages of the day of the Lord, and the proud and lofty looks of man being humbled, as we clearly saw from that article, with large percentages of Americans being depressed out here on antidepressants, alcohol, and not seeing a bright future for America. And again, this is just the beginning of sorrows. All these judgments of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai haven't really kicked off. So imagine how people are going to be in that day when they escape one calamity just to fall into another calamity of judgment. But to you sincere Akim and Akwat out there, and we're not supposed to be afraid of these things. We're actually supposed to be hastening these times to come, because we know that our salvation is just that much nearer the worse things get. And remember what it says in Isaiah 65, verse 13 to about 14 or 15. My servant shall eat in that day, and my servant shall drink, while ye shall be thirsty and hunger. My servants shall rejoice, but ye shall wail and lament for all the things that are coming upon you. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.